Obituaries. Edward Horst Brown. Edward Horst Brown, managing editor of the Painters magazine, this city, for almost 18 years, died April 6th in a sanitarium in New Haven, Con. He suffered a stroke paralysis at his country home near Mount Carmel, March 15th, and was removed to the sanitarium, where 2 more attacks followed shortly before his death. He was 71 years old. Mrs. Edgar Green and Philip Sidney, both married and residing in New Haven, survived him. Mr. Brown was born in Philadelphia, January 4th, 1859. He attended private schools and was graduated in architecture at the University of Pennsylvania in 1879. He practiced as an architect for 10 years, being with a Philadelphia concern with the Pennsylvania Railroad and in a partnership. In 1889, he became advertising manager for Harrison Brothers & Co., paint manufacturers, Philadelphia. Later, he edited That Concern's House Organ. He became associated with the Painters magazine in 1899, retiring in 1917 because of ill health. Mr. Brown was prominent in the Masonic fraternity and was a member of several clubs and technical organizations. His widow, formerly Miss Sarah B. Runk, Philadelphia, survives with their 2 children, Mrs. Edgar Greer and Philip S. Brown. Darwin H. Clark. Darwin H. Clark, for many years vice president of the Halsey Brothers Drug Company, pharmaceutical manufacturer, Chicago, died April 4th in his home in Los Angeles. He was 67 years old. Mr. Clark retired from the Halsey Company some 10 years ago. He retained a financial interest in the drug business. His widow and 2 sons and a daughter survive. Also, 2 brothers, W. H. Clark, Chicago, and F. D. Clark, St. Joseph, M.O. Dr. James Kirk. Dr. James Kirk, a director of J.S. Kirk & Co., manufacturer of soaps and toiletries, Chicago, died April 5th as the result of an automobile accident near Dade City, Florida. He was 63 years old. Dr. Kirk was a son of the late James S. Kirk, founder of the Chicago Company. He had been living in Florida for several years and was driving to St. Petersburg to take possession of a new residence when he was killed. His car turned over and it is believed that he had a heart attack, to which he was subject. His widow and son, James Kirk Jr., survive. James B. McNeil. James B. McNeil, founder of James B. McNeil & Co., paint manufacturer, Baltimore, died in his home in that city, April 10th, after an illness of about 3 months. He was 88 years old. Mr. McNeil had not been active in the affairs of the firm for years, but maintained an interest in its business, which has been directed since his retirement by his sons Charles L. and J. Burgess McNeil. The firm has held membership in the Paint, Oil, and Varnish Club of Baltimore ever since its organization, and the club at a special meeting adopted resolutions of condolences with the family. Besides his sons, Mr. McNeil left 3 daughters. Funeral services were held April 12th. Interment was in Loudon Park Cemetery. Obituary notes. Robert Hutchins McNow, retired president of the Gilbert and Baker Manufacturing Company, Springfield, a subsidiary of the Standard Oil Company of New Jersey, died April 13th at his home in this city. He was 65 years old. Lord Mansfield, New England district manager for the Crown Cork Seal Company, died April 11th in his home in Brookline, Massachusetts. He was a native of Boston and was educated in Massachusetts Institute of Technology for a time following the profession of mining engineer. His wife survives, also a daughter, a son, and two stepsons.